You're listening to Business Talk Radio, where we take business to the next level.
Rapping with Dr. Jacqueline connects you with experts from all over the world to help you take charge of your career, your business, and your life. Rap along with us. Visit drjacqueline.com to learn how to become a guest or a sponsor. And now, the doctor is in.
Hello and welcome to Rapping with Dr. Jacqueline presents A Better You, lessons from the best coaches, consultants, and trusted advisors. I am your host and executive producer, Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. I am a certified life and career coach. I love this program where we bring you, our audience, people who are experts in their field, and they share with you 15 minutes of something to help make you better. Let's bring them out today. With us is Shawna Cale. Hi, Shawna.
Hi, Jacqueline.
You. Trish Robichaud. Hello, Trish.
Hey, pleasure to be here.
And Mildred Muhammad. Nice to see you, Mildred.
Nice to see you, too. It's so wonderful to be with you again.
It's wonderful to have you back. Well, I am really excited, and I want to mention that we are live streaming right now, and I know because I did it myself, on Business Talk Radio and social media. So hello to everyone in Radio Land and social media world. Let's start off by sharing a little bit about who you are, where you're calling in from, and the value that you are going to bring to our audience today. Shawna, let's start with you.
Well, I am Shawna Cale. I'm from Edmond, Oklahoma. I am a woman, a wife, a mom, and physical therapist for many, many years, exceptional life coach, and the author of a brand new book called Bye Bye Normal, Hello Exceptional. This book, I guess, is really what I'm here to just share. It's my story, my own personal story, and a roadmap to help other women better understand how their past, their present, and their future stories affect their stress levels, their energy. And I just want women to know there is hope in a stress-filled world to have less inner stress, more joy, and the energy to do the things that they love to do with those they love. And I really hope people will take away that we are all worthy of unconditional love, forgiveness, and living what I like to call an exceptional life.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. By the way, are they essential oils that you have behind you?
Yes.
Yes, I love essential oils. That's wonderful.
They get me through my day.
That's great. We already have a comment that I want to share from Vanessa Labarca. Hi, Vanessa. Thank you for watching. It's so nice to have you here today. And she writes, love it. She's very big on essential oils too. So thank you again, Vanessa. Okay, let's move on to Mildred. Mildred Muhammad is our panelist today. Hello, Mildred.
Hello, Jacqueline. I'm happy to be here. I am Mildred Muhammad. I am an award-winning global speaker. I'm also a certified professional and personal developmental coach, and my company is called My Focus LLC. I am an expert in domestic violence. I'm a certified domestic violence advocate. So what I bring is the awareness that domestic violence has evolved from a worldwide epidemic into a worldwide pandemic within a pandemic, and there are many people that are suffering in silence. And I want to bring more awareness to this issue, and I know that Dr. Jacqueline wants to bring that message forward too. So if you ever need to contact me, go to My Focus LLC and we can schedule a free breakout session to get you from living in chaos to living in freedom.
Thank you so much, Mildred. You have such an important message to share. Trish, over to you, my friends. Let's hear all about you and what we can expect today.
Thank you so much, Dr. Jacqueline. As you said, my name is Trish Robichaud. I am an award-winning work-life inclusion coach. I'm also an accessibility compliance advocate and a subject matter expert. And there's a few books in there. So I'm an author and a motivational speaker and love what I do. I get to work with entrepreneurs with disabilities. I help them build a stream of income that will keep them afloat when their health is rocking the boat. I also work with businesses to help them drive profitability by including people with disabilities in their business model, by accommodating and welcoming customers as well as employees with disability. I've been at this for about 17 years. Actually, no, sorry, it's over 20. And the math is not good in the head. I absolutely love what I do. What a pleasure it is to be here, to be able to bring my message. Really what I would like to leave viewers with is the fact that living with chronic illness or disability, you are not alone. Today, specifically, I'm going to be talking about mental illness.
Thank you so much, Trish. When we think about a better you, right, people are struggling with all kinds of things. And so each one of you is going to touch on something that's so important. So I thank you so much for being here. We're going to start off with a clip that Trish has shared with us. I'm excited to share it with our audience. So let's take a look, and then we're going to get to Trish's presentation. Sound good?
Absolutely.
All right, here we go.
The world is changing, and your company needs to change with it. Whether it's procurement, employment, marketing, or customer service, it's now more important than ever for your business processes to be inclusive to people with disabilities. Hi, I'm Trish Robichaud with Changing Paces, and I'm here to tell you that making your business processes accessible to people with disabilities is simply good for business. Accessibility and inclusion are the law. But here's what you may not realize. Disability inclusion is an opportunity, not an obstacle. In fact, a recent 4-year study found that companies that fully embrace disability inclusion had a 30% higher profit margin than those that didn't. Your investment in staff disability inclusiveness training can pay off in areas like innovation, brand recognition, as well as customer and employee satisfaction and loyalty, not to mention productivity and profitability. At Changing Paces, we can help you make that happen for your business. Our experts have real-life experience that will help your team gain insight and best practices they won't get anywhere else. This topic is very close to my heart for me, very personal. Dealing with the challenges.
Oh, the clip just cut off. I don't know what happened.
Oh, well, then we'll have to make up for it, won't we?
Yes. Bad StreamYard. Okay. Well, what an important message, Trish. And by the way, that was very professionally done. Nice job on that. Are you ready to get started?
I am. Let me just get my PowerPoint here up, and we're good to go.
All right. What I'm going to do, because you have the PowerPoint, is I'm going to put the rest of us backstage so that you can have the whole stage to yourself. Okay?
Okay. Okay, right. Great. And so how do I start the... there we go. There we go. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me on the show, Dr. Jacqueline. It's wonderful to be here. And I'm so glad that you are here today. And I have to tell you, you're in for a bit of a roller coaster ride, because we're talking about the hope, heartbreak, and triumph of life with mental illness. Hi, and I'm here today to talk to you about mental illness, or mental health disabilities if you prefer. My name is Trish Robichaud, and I've been providing life and business coaching to people with disabilities, including mental illness, for over 2 decades. Excuse me. My primary goal today, for those of you who live with mental health issues, is to show you that you are not alone. You're far from alone. As part of my message, I'm going to tell you a little story. Meet Patty, an 11-year-old girl who can't stop crying one Saturday afternoon. She doesn't even know why she's crying. All she knows is that she's very, very unhappy and the pain is unbearable. Her mom yells at her. You have everything an 11-year-old could ever want. What could you possibly be sad about? Those words created a wound that's been with her for life. Depression presents in an unsuspecting 11-year-old child who doesn't have a clue that this illness will be a lifelong companion. Patty is a fighter, though. She kept up her grades and was valedictorian for her grade 8 graduation. Poor thing, you gotta love her. Well, I have to love her anyway. Because Patty is me. I was born Patricia Marie Amlin on May 17, 1963 in Windsor, Ontario, Canada. My parents called me Patty until I changed my name. I changed my name to Trish when I was 14. I was so unhappy as a child that I changed my name when I started high school. What a healthy message that sent to my inner child. I've gotten to be friends with her since then, but she still runs amok, every once in a while, just to keep me on my toes, I think. Truth be told, at the root, I changed my name because I was tired of being called Fatty Patty. You see, I've been heavy all my life, and my own oversized self-perception of myself is the only one I saw and I allowed to define me for most of my life. I thought back then that if I changed my name to Trish, which I could do without legal involvement, people would stop calling me fat. I didn't realize till decades later that it was me that had to stop seeing myself as fat. Some days I still struggle with that one. As a teen, a young woman, my weight drove my depression, and my depression drove my eating. It was a cycle that consumed me. And yes, that pun was intended. Humor is my coping mechanism for healing. What about you? Can you relate? Can you relate to feeling defined by your weight? Or maybe it's a job. Or you feeling defined by your mental health? You're not alone. But without a diagnosis, my teen and young adult years were peppered by emotional breakdowns, my acting out with dangerous, high-risk, and self-destructive behaviors. After a particularly difficult episode at age 22, it was my boyfriend, Ernest, now my husband, that insisted that I see a professional about my mental health. After countless bouts of depression over many years, and about to lose the man I loved, if I wasn't willing to see a doctor, I relented. As a result, I was finally diagnosed with a major depressive disorder and started on antidepressants for the first time in my life. It was time to take my mental health seriously, as if it were heart disease or cancer. Unfortunately, I did not. I continued to allow my work hard and play hard lifestyle to set the trajectory for my life and my future health. Hey, I was young. I told myself everything was fine. There was plenty of time to get healthy later. But for 8 years after that, I would take the antidepressants long enough to feel better, then stop taking them again until another episode came along and forced me back onto them. I just never thought I was that sick, nor did I see the pattern in my life. The thing is, you have to actually take the meds for them to help, not just fill the prescription. In truth, I wasn't alone. Non-compliance with medication is one of the largest barriers to effective treatment for many people living with with mental illness. I would be stable for months, and then the depression would set in again like a black cloud hanging overhead, pushing me down a dark well. Eventually, I'd give my head a shake and get back on the meds, then my depression would lift again. Some define depression as a heavy, wet blanket that covers everything in life. Winston Churchill called his bouts of depression the black dog. For me, I'm at the bottom of that deep well, deep dry well. I can't even see light at the top of the well. As a coach, when I'm working with a client living with depression, it's my job to stand at the top of the well and yell down, to let them know that they're not alone. That's the scariest part, being alone in the dark. And when my client is ready to climb out, it's my job to throw down a rope so they can do just that. Talk therapy and cognitive behavior therapy helped me see that I wasn't to blame and I wasn't broken. Between the therapy and the medication, I was better able to cope with the depression and learn how to talk about it and process it. Finally, I was excelling at work, building a somewhat stable life and home, and enjoying a 70s and 80s era successful life, dating myself there. Then, on November 4th, 1993, I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. I was 30 years old. Within 3 months, I lost my job as a result of the sick time I had racked up leading up to my diagnosis. And it was just so wrong. But I'm a fighter. So I never even let it occur to me not to file a complaint against my employer with the Canadian Human Rights Commission when they let me go. 2 years later, after countless stressful meetings and phone calls, that complaint was eventually settled in my favor. The award allowed my husband and I to finally buy a house. Yes, and justice prevails. The glass really is half full, and I do the happy dance. Some days it's easier to dance or laugh than others, wouldn't you agree? In fact, some days, for those of us who live with depression or anxiety, some days seem like we'll never laugh again. Ernest and I had one of those days a couple of years after we were married. It started out just like any other day, but somewhere along the line, we started arguing. I don't even remember about what, and between my depression and his generalized anxiety disorder, things escalated further than they ever had before. At the worst of it, late in the evening, he stormed out of the house, and I sobbed my way to the bedroom. My depression was telling me that he might not come back, and it was all my fault. I just couldn't bear losing him. So in my desperation, I took a handful of sedatives and I laid down in bed crying. I just wanted the pain and fear to go away. I was convinced he wasn't coming back. Once I started to get sleepy, I got scared. I wanted the pain to stop, but I realized that I didn't want to die. So I dragged myself out of bed and into the bathroom. Ernest found me on the floor not long after. He stuck his finger down my throat and I threw up the pills that were still in my stomach. From that point forward, I stopped the roller coaster I was on with my antidepressants. Because you know what? Depression is just as real as a heart attack. Eventually, I was amazed at how long I could go without a depression meltdown when I was on the meds as prescribed. Imagine. Who would have thought, eh? Oh my goodness. Within the next year, after our wedding, I started on one of the injectable disease-modifying drugs for relapsing remitting MS. I was astounded by the difference I felt on the injections. Within a month, my energy was through the roof. I started working out. Water became my best friend, still is, and I felt like I could do anything. I even managed to quit smoking. Yeah, and I'm still off the cigarettes. The depression felt like just a memory at that point. I felt so much better that I decided it was time for me to go back to work. I had no idea what I wanted to do, but I knew that I had to be self-employed. I never, ever again wanted to feel guilty for being sick. So I headed into a vocational rehab agency and met with a career coach. She told me to go home and research life coaching because she felt that my people skills were my strongest asset. And I didn't have a clue at that point about that being my strongest asset. Really, I didn't. So I did the research assigned to me and I found my new career. Within months, I went back to school and got my coaching certification. I fell in love with the industry. I just fell in love. I decided that I want to focus on people with disabilities because of my own situation. Income's changing paces, my coaching practice. I've now been coaching professionally for over 17 years. Okay, yes, it's going on 20. All right, I need to update that number. Mostly right now, I'm working with entrepreneurs with disabilities, helping them build a stream of income that'll help them keep afloat, even when their health is rocking the boat. I would never have guessed that a whole new life was to come, despite the mental illness in my life. The eating disorder that had the potential to kill me, I had actually invested a whole year in my life into being screened and emotionally prepared for gastric bypass surgery. At this point in my weight loss journey, I had done every diet going at least twice. I always lost weight, but I always put it back on plus more. I'm sure you can see how that would contribute to my depression. Well, I'd had enough. I knew that both of my parents had had cardiac bypass surgery in their 50s, and I was 47. If I didn't do something drastic about my weight, I was heading for the same fate. Finally, I was booked for gastric bypass surgery on February 22, 2011. I couldn't wait. I was sure it was going to work for me. Then, just 6 weeks before my surgery, I ended up in emergency one day with chest pains. What felt like a 100-pound weight on my chest and pain radiating down my left arm. After I'd been through all of their tests with my husband Ernest by my side, the cardiologist came to see me. I had 5 blockages ranging from 70 to 90%, and I would need a quadruple bypass soon. I was only 47 years old. They told me the recovery was usually 4 to 6 months, but it might take longer because of the MS. Yeah, took me over a year before I could get back to my business. The depression was brutal. It drove me to nag Ernest to get me a dog until he relented. The dog helped. Actually, pets can have a really positive impact on depression. No, seriously, the depression was brutal. They actually warned me at the hospital that a lot of cardiac patients experience depression after surgery. But 18 months later, I was delivering training to 600 Toronto Pearson Airport customer service staff on how to support travelers with disabilities. My health keeps taking me down, but I just keep getting right back up again. What do you think? Am I too thick to take the hint? No, it's because God has blessed me with a positive outlook and a determination to make a difference for others. I truly believe that I need to be the change that I want to see in the world. Actually, being honest again, and I'm looking for my timer and I don't see it. Okay. Actually, being honest again here, my determination and passions can overtake my concern for self-care and healthy living. I'm a workaholic that has been known to ride my productivity waves like a junkie rides a drug high. Can you at all relate? Do you have any behaviors that border on obsessive or compulsive? To the extreme, these productivity waves could see me working at my desk steady, except for bathroom breaks, for up to 4 days straight with no sleep. I'd be in chronic sleep deprivation mode and not even have a clue. Long story short, I ended up in front of a psychiatrist who diagnosed me with bipolar disorder in 2015. After sharing my mental health history with him, I asked him how he came to that conclusion. And without a word, he proceeded to make a large wavy line with his hand, illustrating the roller coaster of my life. It took me 2 years from that point to get the right combination of medications to get my mental health back onto stable ground again. But I got there because I keep just getting up again. Now that I've learned about bipolar and its particular symptoms, I realize that this illness started sometime in my early 20s, and that I'm certain my mother had it as well. As I said earlier, mental health issues or mental illness is often passed from parent to child. But so are a multitude of other positive, empowering personal traits and values. As in anything in life, we get the good with the bad, and we play the best game we can with the marbles we've been given. That is, if we want to continue to have a reason to get out of bed in the morning. And we all have to have one of those. And the good news is that unlike MS, mental health disorders are all treatable. See, that silver lining seeker can often play a positive perspective on anything. And my strongest tools for coping overall have been my positive attitude, striving for balance in my life, and embracing communication and staying connected to people I can talk to and who get me. I can talk to, I don't have the time for people who drain me anymore. I'm comfortable setting those kind of boundaries. I'm not a people pleaser anymore like I was way back in. I've learned how to set boundaries. It hasn't been easy, but one step at a time, it can be done. If I've said anything today that has resonated with you, I hope that you'll stay connected with me. I encourage you to. I love what you'd stay. I'd like to actually offer you a free one-on-one consult if you're interested. And if you want to take me up on that offer, just go on over to fortalkwithtrish.com and book that. And again, if you sign up for a complimentary consultation, and finally, if you sign up for complimentary consultation within say next 48 hours of watching this video, I'll gift you with a downloadable copy of my book, After the Diagnosis and the Journey Beyond. Thank you so much for your time and attention today. Please remember, mental illness is as serious as a heart disease, serious as a heart attack. Would you stop taking your meds for your heart disease just because your chest pains went away? I think not. Stay home, stay safe, and wear a mask when you're out. Thanks for being here. Till next time, take self-care seriously and God bless.
Nice job. Very nice. Let me add everyone back in. Wow. I have so much respect for you. You are incredibly strong. Incredibly strong. What a story. I was moved to tears several times. So thank you for sharing.
Did I run long?
The timer disappeared, so you were over, but that's okay. I didn't want to stop you. Sorry. Nice job. So we're going to take a commercial break, and then we'll be back to talk about Trisha's presentation. So stay with us here on Rapping with Dr. Jacqueline presents A Better You.
Hey everybody, my name is Ralph Graves Jr. I'm the host of the Ralph Graves Jr. Show, and I want to invite you to pick up my book, Unstoppable. I wrote a book called Unstoppable. It's 7 universal laws that will transform how you pursue and achieve success. The one thing that my 20 years of law enforcement has taught me is that no matter who you are, we are all governed by universal laws, like gravity. But in this book, we're going to talk about laws like the law of forgiveness, laws like the law of control, the law of intelligent practice, the law of expectancy. I was able to see how those, no matter what their background was, those who identified and treated these laws with respect, they were able to go on and lead successful lives. So pick up this book, and you can go ahead and pick it up at Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, RalphGravesJr.com, where anywhere where fine books are sold. Thank you.
There are 7.7 billion people on Earth today. 40% of these people are under the age of 25. Young adults are the most fertile mission field in the world today. In Scripture, we see Jesus pouring his life into 12 young adults who he equipped to change the world and all of history. Like Jesus, we believe that the best approach to reach the world with the gospel is to invest in young, emerging leaders and equip them to build disciple-making movements. Concentric is the notion of surrounding and sharing a common center. Our center is the model and strategy of Jesus for both leadership development and ministry formation. As a global alliance, we provide equipping in biblical leadership based on Jesus' example in the New Testament. Jesus modeled for us how to make disciples that reproduce. Focusing on leadership development is key to creating movements that spread the gospel and Jesus' disciple-making strategy to young leaders around the globe. Our Ministry Alliance partners are actively equipping leaders and building movements of multiplication that reproduce the life of Christ. Join us today to equip young leaders with Jesus' strategy that will change cities and nations.
The session that we had with BCAT was really entertaining and enlightening. We were able to put together some very specific steps that we as individuals can take, and it was really fun to all come together and see sort of where we're going as a team and how we can all get there together.
We had a tremendous experience with the BCAP partners. One of the challenges that we have as an organization is to make sure that we have the right people in the right chairs doing the right thing. To do that well, you have to have synergy. You can try to dream up ways to make sure that your group does that, or you can rely on experts. We would recommend BCAP partners to anybody who's looking to take their organization to the next level.
Academy Sedan and Limo is a full-service transportation company serving the Philadelphia metropolitan area with full knowledge of the New York City, Baltimore, and Washington, D.C. areas. We pride ourselves on being the most dependable, conscientious company in the industry. Our always on-time service and dependable pricing make us the company to call for any event or occasion. Our vehicles can accommodate any size party for any occasion. Our vehicles range from four-door sedans to SUVs to minivans to limo buses to full-size tour buses and can accommodate groups of 2 to 100. We offer airport shuttle service or over-the-road service without limitation regarding mileage or time, and no drive is too long or too far. So if you find yourself in need of transportation of any type with any vehicle, give us a call at 610-842-4564 and let us show you what a real transportation company can do for you.
Use code ACADEMY2020 to receive 20% off your first 3 rides, including parking and tolls.
You're listening to Business Talk Radio, where we take business to the next level.
Hello and welcome back to Rapping with Dr. Jacqueline presents A Better You, lessons from the best coaches, consultants, and trusted advisors. Wow, what a presentation that was, Trish.
Thank you.
How do you feel?
I'm going to say liberated.
I love that. It's awesome.
That's actually a presentation that I just developed about 6 months ago, and I've only delivered it, I'm going to say, twice publicly, and that was in small forum. And so actually calling myself Fatty Patty live on Facebook and live on the internet, this is like, wow, oh my gosh, that's cool. It is very liberating, I have to tell you.
Oh, I'm so thrilled to hear that. That is wonderful. You know, I didn't know you were going to be talking about yourself when you were talking about the 11-year-old girl. But then when I think back to your clip and you said how personal it was, I figured it affected somebody in your family was affected. So that was very brave and really amazing. Thank you for doing that.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for being here and listening.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, thank you for being here and listening and giving me the opportunity and the space to do this. Appreciate that.
It's my pleasure. So I want to go to Shawna and Mildred for your comments. Shawna, let's start with you.
Well, like you said, Dr. Jacqueline, I'm just so thankful that Trish, you were able to share your story with others, because I know so often people do feel alone when they think they're the only one. So again, thanks for sharing your story. I have a question for you. Just, how is it that you help entrepreneurs that have different disabilities and mental illness and disease that they're dealing with, or things like multiple sclerosis? So as a physical therapist for many years, I worked with a lot of patients that had multiple sclerosis. So I would just love to know how you're helping them as they're going through this process.
Well, let me start by saying, well, thank you so much for your question, Shawna. I want to first start by saying I'm a coach. I'm a life coach. I'm a certified life coach. I'm not a mental health practitioner. So when I'm working with a client who clearly has a mental illness, it's always vital that they also be seeing a mental health practitioner simultaneously. All right, the mental health practitioner will work on, the mental illness and handle the therapy piece, but a life coach works on the here and now in very practical life skills areas. Like getting out of bed. For some clients, that's what it is. It's literally about, how am I going to force myself to get out of bed tomorrow? But for other clients, it's about how do I talk to my employer about the fact that I miss a 1 or 2 days every month, and for women with mental illness, often those 1 or 2 days are somewhere around their menstrual cycle. And that's not at all unusual for people who live with depression, for it to exacerbate when the hormones are out of whack. Okay. Because there's anyway, the connection, the hormonal connection with mental illness is, for me, it's definitely very evident. But back to your question, Shawna, how do I work with these people? Ultimately, I help them work on themselves. If somebody's coming to me because they have a chronic illness and let's say their employer doesn't know how to deal with it, I help them just focus on themselves, help them just focus on self-love, because when you're in that space of being judged for having a chronic illness, it becomes really easy to judge yourself. Okay. I can tell you the day that I was diagnosed, and it was a big relief to finally have a diagnosis because I'd had symptoms for many, many months, like 9 months. When I went home that day, I wasn't even, this is so sad. I was so concerned about my job because I had been experiencing harassment and discrimination at work that all I can think about was reading my benefits book, okay, to find out what was going to happen to me at work. So these are some of the things that I'm working with clients on, is talking about, the practical. What am I going to do? Helping them see their options. Often when we're sick, especially if it's been a long time, by the time they get to me, they don't have a lot of hope. They definitely have some, or they wouldn't have called me. But they don't have a lot of hope for their own future. So I hope that helps.
Yeah, great question and answer. Mildred, we're going to go over to you. I also wanted to say that I loved the use of the well when you were at the top of the well yelling down to them, and then also with that rope. That was a great visual.
Thank you.
Nice work. Mildred, over to you.
Well, that was a very good presentation.
Mildred, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, perfect. We don't want to miss a word.
So that was a very good presentation that you gave, and you said it didn't sound like very well versed and information that needed to be told to other people. I noticed you used the number 8 twice, and the number 8 means transformation. So at the age of 8, you transformed into someone else, Trish, and then you transformed again 8 years later. So the number 8 seems like it plays a very significant role in your life. My son has MS. He was diagnosed with MS at the age of 23, and it was
Wow.
difficult for us to try to find medication that was right for him. So it took him a year. But we also had to deal with his mental issues about, why do I have MS? Why is this happening
Yep.
to me? What is this doing? And so I tried to get him to live in the now, because he's an overthinker. He'll overthink how to put a toothpick in a slice of cheese. He'll overthink it. So getting him to stay in the now. Let's look at now. If it's something you can't handle right now, let it go. And so
Yeah.
that has helped him to move forward. But all of the tips that you gave in terms of how people should move forward in their life is very good. And I just really appreciated you taking the time to help those who need your help.
Thank you, Mildred. Appreciate that very much. Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, and if your son is ever struggling, please get him in touch with me. I'd love to have a chat. Yeah.
It's really nice. Thank you. We are going to pause for a short break so that we can come back fresh with Shawna to do her presentation. So stay with us. We're going to take a break for about 2 minutes. We'll be right back.
My stomach issues make me want to stay home, but that's not an option. No matter how prepared I am, I still feel nervous. Enough is enough.
If this sounds familiar, the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation can offer you support and connect you with a specialist.
Don't keep your symptoms to yourself. Get help at spillyourguts.org today.
Ladies and gentlemen, here it is, the most listened to radio show on the planet. Even the other stations are tuned in too.
You're listening to Business Talk Radio, where we take business to the next level.
Hello and welcome back to Rapping with Dr. Jacqueline presents A Better You. We are here with 3 experts today. We just heard from one, and now we're going to hear from another, Shawna Cale. Shawna, are you ready?
I am ready.
Okay, I'm going to spotlight you and remove us, and when you see the timer, that's your time to go, okay?
All right, thanks.
Perfect. Here we go.
All right. Well, I just want to say thank you, Dr. Jacqueline, for this opportunity to share with your audience something really dear to my heart, which is living an exceptional life. So today I actually want to share a concept I share in my book that involves this little penny. You can see this little penny here, right? I think most of us have heard the poem, find a penny, pick it up, and all day long you'll have good luck. Some of us may have heard you should never pick up a penny when it's on its tail side or you will have bad luck. I don't know if I'm the only one that heard that as a child, but that's what I kind of had lived by. But what I found is the real poem says, find a penny, pick it up, and all day long you'll have good luck. Give it to a faithful friend, then your luck will never end. In my book, and my purpose is really about me giving my faithful friends a penny. And today, that's exactly what I want to give to each of you. Kind of a virtual penny to take with you through this day. I actually have pennies kind of all around as reminders of what I'm going to share with you today. So I personally believe luck is how we choose to see life. We can see things from the head side of the penny, good luck, or we can see things from the tail side, which we often consider bad luck, or we can choose to see the whole penny and see it for its total worth. And I believe for so many of us, talking for women because I'm a woman, but we often define ourselves by our circumstances, our past, our present, and even the fears of our future circumstances. Just listening to Trish, she was sharing some of her fears and some of the circumstances of her past. And often we look at those circumstances as good and then we feel good. And if we look at those as bad circumstances, we often feel bad, not just physically, but just bad about ourselves internally. And what I've learned on my own personal journey is that both sides of this penny right here can guide us to become who we are, who we become as a human being. The wonderful, beautiful, positive memories serve as hope and joy and wonderful stories that we can share with the world. This is how I actually start the first chapter of my book. It's called The Penny Story. And it's actually based on a game my youngest son, Bryce, and I started playing in my Honda minivan. He would pick up a penny and he would tell me the year that was on it. And I would tell him a story of something that happened that year, whether to me or something in the world. But here's the thing, the other side, the negative traumas, sad memories, often what I call trapped emotions that we have stuffed down pretty deep and we want to pretend never existed, also can be used as a guide towards our purpose and help others move through to the other side if we've gone through it. So my purpose is really to help women better understand stress, all right? Where stress comes from, how to better handle it, how it causes dis-ease. So a lot of times if we go to the doctor and we are told we have some type of issue or some type of disease, we're often told we need to lower our stress, and we don't even know how to do that. Here's the thing, stress affects us spiritually, it affects us emotionally, and it affects us physically. And I know for me in my 20s and my 30s, I worked as a physical therapist, and I would talk to my patients about lowering their stress levels to help better manage pain. However, I was completely clueless, unaware that I personally was stressed. So because I didn't feel stressed, because I chose not to feel anything, when we don't feel the negative, what I call the tail side of the penny, we have a hard time feeling the positive, what I call the head side of the penny. So let me use an example. Many of us don't want to feel sad, right? I mean, it's no fun to be sad. And I know for me, when sadness would start creeping in for me, I would push it down and pretend that everything was okay. And that emotion would get trapped and cause stress in my body. as well as suck the energy out of me. I don't know how many others of you may feel like the energy gets sucked out of you, or as I said for years, I would wake up in the morning and I'm ready to go, and then is like I was right here and just took one thing for me to be done. Used that word a lot. Was I'm done. I just couldn't handle anymore. And so I kind of think of it as when we take those emotions and we are swallowing them or pushing them down, as if I was to swallow a penny. All right. So if I was to swallow this penny, you wouldn't be able to see what I did. Right. So a lot of times if we don't see it, we think it's not there. But here's the thing. If I was to swallow this penny, if you were to swallow this penny, you might get a stomach ache, right? It might come through your digestive system and you might find it at the other end, or it might get stuck somewhere else, somewhere between the mouth and down below. It might stay in your body somewhere for years with you totally unaware of the damage it's causing. And that's what I learned on my own journey about emotions, like sadness, that get trapped. They can be like a penny stuck, all right, infected, causing damage and not even knowing it. But here's the thing that I want to share today is sadness might be on one side, but on the other side is joy. And so often we want the joy. Who wants more joy in their life? I know I did, and I do. But if we swallow that sadness or that emotion that we call the tail side of the penny, we're also swallowing joy. And for many like me that may have searched and searched for more joy, have a hard time because it's hiding deep within. I'm not sure what that was. They want me to try again. So again, talking about joy, this is just one penny, one emotion, one feeling. And as humans, we have the ability to feel so much, but because of our beliefs, our fears, things from our past, our present, again, we could be fearing the future. We tend to not want to feel. We often see addictions. We see disconnection to others. We see disconnection to ourselves, or even the inability to regulate our emotions in a healthy way. So in my book, Bye Bye Normal, Hello Exceptional, I know there's a lot of people out there right now that are like, I just want normal back. But what I found is that normal wasn't necessarily all that great. I kind of say normal is like highly overrated, because the reason that I was ready to say goodbye to normal is because normal is stress. Okay. Normal is also sickness. It is fatigue, it's pain, it's headaches, it's depression, it's arthritis, it's miscarriages, it's obesity, it's diabetes, it's cancer, it's anxiety, it's heart disease. Stress affects every single one of those things in our life. And it's really the cause of what's going on in our world. And so I would love for you to imagine just for a moment, you might want to close your eyes, but I want you to imagine that the stressors in the world are storms, all right? They're external. And I want you to picture yourself as a tree, all right? I know that might be hard. Maybe you're a small tree or maybe you're a big tree. I personally like to picture myself like the rainbow eucalyptus tree. And if you've never seen one, when we're done here, Google it. It's pretty cool. It looks like someone painted a tree, but it's really how it was made. But I want you to know that storms can either knock a tree down or it can actually strengthen a tree. Stress can strengthen us. All right. Those stressors, those storms, they can strengthen us. You see, there's always going to be stressors. There's always going to be storms in the world. I mean, right now we have COVID, right? It's a pretty big storm affecting everyone. But in 2010, my biggest storm was within. All right. I actually handled 2020 so much better than 2010. And it was because I had the tools and the techniques to get through 2020 that made it possible. All right. So here's the thing. In 2010, I had everything I ever wanted in my external world. Yet I wasn't happy and I wanted to run away. And what I now know is one of the signs of stress. So if you've ever heard of the terms fight, flight, and freeze, which having worked in the medical field, I knew exactly what those terms meant. I could see it in other people, but I had no idea that I personally was dealing with stress. Okay. So if you find yourself fighting with those you love or you don't, I want you to know you are stressed. Okay. If you find yourself wanting to run away from the life you have built or that you desire, you are stressed. And if you find yourself wanting to do nothing, absolutely nothing, you feel stuck, depressed, you are stressed. Okay. So you see, we so often want to control everything and everyone in our external world and not deal with our own internal world. And let's be honest, we cannot control the world. I have no control over my husband. I have no control over my children. I have no control over COVID. But each day, I can choose how I'm going to start and live my day from the inside. I have control over me. And I like to say I can go from normal to exceptional in about 2.5 seconds. And it's not a race. You see, we have about 60,000 thoughts a day. And they say that about 80% tend to be negative. And when I take those thoughts captive and renew them with an empowering belief or renewing emotion, I am living an exceptional life. So in 2011, I woke from a dream with what I call the exceptional formula. It's a mnemonic, which is spelled EXSEPSHNL. And the X stands for exercise and much more. All right. And I share that in my book. And the S is for spiritual, our spiritual being within, that deep being. E is for emotional, our emotional being. And P is for physical. And I call the three SEP, which make you. All right. And then the S is for sleep, H is for hydration, N is for nutrition. And those are all the essentials that we need daily. And then L is for life, living, investing, finances, and ending it with energy, because often that's what we need, right? Is just more energy. I often hear women say, I don't have time for all that, Shawna. My life is too busy. And I get it. I once was there. But here's the thing. When I prayed and prayed for more answers, I believe the exceptional formula was the answer I'd been praying for, how to move from normal to exceptional. So I share that in my book. It's the exceptional formula. It helps us grow our roots deep, our trunk wide, so we are able to handle the stressors, the storms of the world, and we can come out stronger and more beautiful inside and out. And then we have less stress, we have more energy. And I just would like to end this by saying, you, me, we are like this penny. Our worth is not dependent on whether you're looking at the head side of the penny, the tail side of the penny, if you have swallowed or buried your penny. You are worthy of living an exceptional life, one of joy, one of unconditional love, one of peace, forgiveness, and all the things, because you are you. You are enough. You are loved. You are exceptional.
Fabulous.
Great job, Shawna. Really nice. I loved the analogies, the penny, the eucalyptus. I'm going to look that up, the rainbow eucalyptus tree, and then about the storms and how it can strengthen a tree or can knock it down. I thought it was great. A lot of good information. Also, we do have a special offer. Do you want to share what that is?
Yeah, so on my website, shawnacale.com, you can find out more information about my book, but I also have a little freebie there that's called Discover the 10 Energy Zappers, because I know for me, that was my prayer. Hey, I just need more energy. I didn't know where to start, what to do. How do you get this energy? And so I share because there's 10 energy zappers and there are 10 simple solutions. And when you take those steps, it's amazing the energy that you can have in your life so that you can heal and feel better about the things that are going on. And you're able to handle the stressors, even COVID, when it comes your way.
Thank you so much. So they can go to your website. For people listening on the radio, how do they actually take advantage of the special offer?
So shawnacale.com. If you scroll all the way to the end, it has a free resource there, but I also have it where they can go to shawnacale.com /landing / a better you based on this presentation right here.
Thank you so much. And where is your book available?
So you can go to Amazon, you can go to Walmart, Barnes & Noble, or my website, shawnacale.com, click book, and it will take you to those locations for you to get it.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Okay, that was great. Let's go to Trish for your comments.
Wow. Your demeanor, Shawna, is just so warm and friendly. I honestly, you're what you say is completely in alignment with the energy that you put out. I just love it. It's so warm, and I love the penny. I'm into analogies as well, Dr. Jacqueline. It just drives everything home for me. Yeah, and I just love how polite you are about what happens to the penny.
That's a good point too. Thank you, Trish. Mildred?
Thank you.
I've heard of the penny analysis. Find a penny, pick it up all the days you'll have good luck. I didn't know about the other part about giving it to someone. I didn't know that part. And then there are sometimes you don't even pick up the penny. It's not even worth it, right? But I love that analysis. I also like how you spoke about stress, how you broke it down for people to truly understand what stress is and what it looks like in their life, because it looks different for different people. But I really appreciated that, and it was really good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mildred. It's wonderful. So we're at the top of the hour. It flew by. I'm just going to spotlight each one of you and share whatever information about how people can contact you. Remember, our friends on Business Talk Radio. So I'm going to start with Mildred. Spotlight you, and I will find your banner. Go ahead. How can people reach you?
You can reach me on my website. I'm going to go with my speaker website, which is mildredmuhammad.com. Again, I'm an award-winning global keynote speaker on issues of domestic violence. Most people don't know that my ex-husband was John Allen Muhammad, whom you know to be the DC sniper, that I was the intended target, and that's the reason he was killing innocent people to cover up my murder. Again, domestic violence is an epidemic that has risen to a pandemic within a pandemic. If you need help and you're in an abusive relationship, help is available. Call the domestic violence hotline, 800-799-7233. They are available 24/7 to answer and help you in whatever situation you may find yourself in. If you need my assistance, you can contact me through my website. Go to the contact page, and I will give you whatever resources that I have, and also to help you to find resources in your location.
Thank you so much, Mildred. And for those who don't know, I actually work with Mildred. She's helping me a lot personally and professionally. She's my coach. So thank you, Mildred. Okay, let's move on to Trish. How can we get in touch with you?
Anybody can reach me at Changing Paces. That's PACES, as in steps, changingpaces.com. I'm at trish@changingpaces.com. And if anybody is interested in booking a consult with me, a free consult with me, they can do that at 4 Talk with Trish, 4talkwithtrish.com. And if they do book a consultation, I am going to gift them with an ebook version, the electronic version of my book, After the Diagnosis, The Journey Beyond. Thanks so much for the opportunity, Dr. Jacqueline.
Thank you, Trish. Really appreciate you. Shawna, how can we get in touch with you?
Yeah, so the easiest way would be to go to shawnacale.com. On my website, I have several different things to offer. And so one of the things, you can click book to find out more about my book. It really is going to walk you through not only my story, but a roadmap so that you too can have less stress and more energy. I have the freebie, the top 10 energy zappers and the simple solutions to more energy. And also I have the Exceptional You community, because each woman is exceptional. And I want to make sure to just be able to help encourage women to walk the exceptional road of making those choices each day that's going to better help them have less stress and more energy.
Thank you so much, Shawna. It's been a pleasure meeting all of you and seeing you again, Mildred. Thank you. I'm going to close out the show, and I'll see you backstage. If you'll just wait around for me, I'd really appreciate it.
Thank you, Dr. Jacqueline. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. And as always, I just want to thank our fans and our viewers and listeners on Business Talk Radio and social media. Really appreciate you being here. A Better You programs are Wednesday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time and Thursday at 11 a.m. If you are an expert, coach, consultant, or trusted advisor, and you'd like to have the opportunity to present to the world, please go to our website, abetteryou.tv, and book your session. Stay with us this afternoon. We have our dating program. It's all about dating, and it's always fun. We always have a few laughs there. And then tomorrow we have 3 programs starting at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time with Pet Psychic Amina, and then we have our show of Stories of Hope, Inspiration, and Overcoming Adversity at 5 p.m. And then at 6 p.m. we have the Variety Show. So that's all for today. It's a wrap. Thanks for joining us.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting. I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, I mean, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.